for Mr. ZAK Bagans from Ghost Adventures. We all know that TV show on the networks, on Really Channel and on Travel Channel. And there's been some commotion. It seems lots of people are coming out of the woodwork saying it's time for the truth. We've got Nick Groff here. Just posted a video last night, and I feel I would actually do a reaction video to his video. I'd also do a reaction video to Dakota. And no, I don't want notifications. So yeah, I thought I'd do a reaction video to Dakota and basically what stemmed all this off. So basically we're gonna start with Dakota because that's where this first originated from, I believe, from just doing a little search. So let's play his video and let's see what it's about. So Dakota is the producer of the show of Destination Fear, and it seems that it's been cancelled. So let's just play and then we'll see what's the crack.
Front. Okay guys, I gotta make this quick. First of all, you're amazing. You guys, the love, the support this week has been unreal. And clearly that message is going far because I just got a phone call and I have to publicly address this now. Here we go. Did ZAK Bagans shut down Destination Fear? No, he didn't. Did ZAK Bagans...
I wonder who that phone call was from. I wonder if it was from ZAK Bagans.
Call the network and say, shut it down? No, he didn't. You know, right now, we don't even know if Destination Fear is canceled or renewed. I will say it's not looking good, but I have to tell you guys, in this industry, these decisions are business. This is a business decision, and it has nothing to do with anyone's ego or whatever. However, does that mean that Zach and me are friends and that he's been supporting the show and everything has been chipper and great? No, it doesn't. And I have a lot to say and more to come on that front. Okay.
So that is ZAK Bagans. This video here sparked like a massive whirlwind of, let's say, commotion and topic of debate in the TV genre and in the paranormal genre community. And basically, from listening to that, I could be extremely wrong with this. Be interesting to know who that phone call was from and why that phone call sparked this video. So it's got to be obviously something to do with ZAK Bagans, definitely 100% to do with it. And at this point in the video, he doesn't know if it's been cancelled. However, now we do know it's cancelled. It's 20th of March and we do know the show is cancelled. However, just because the show is cancelled, it doesn't mean it can never be re-aired or rebooted or started again or carried on in the future. There's always the possibility that shows can pick off 2-3 years down the line or even longer. So there's never really the end of the end, if you get me. However, this then sparked Nick Groff, I believe, to do a little video. So we're going to play Nick's Groff video, and then I'm going to jump back to Dakota again a bit later on to tell you what's actually going off with Dakota, what's the next chapter, and all that and stuff. So let's go to Nick Groff and play his video.
Okay, let's get into this. I got all your questions. I sorted through them. Let me start off by saying this. I never had an NDA. I was not fired from Ghost Adventures. I never did, quote, a bad thing. I never cheated in a relationship that I was in. I was misled with the ongoing of Paranormal Lockdown. I kept my head up for 9 years. I pushed forward. I kept trying to move on, creating new hit shows. But the previous hosts that I used to work with keep trying to stop my career. So
previous host he used to work with keep trying to stop his career. So that is ZAK Bagans.
This is my story. This is from my perspective, and now I have to talk about it.
Okay, Rachel asked, this may be controversial, I know, but what was it like working on the GA team after the documentary and Fame hit? Just wondering if rumors are true about you-know-whose ego from experience. I questioned him once about how he treats his team and was blocked instantly.
In my opinion, this rumor is true. I witnessed it firsthand and I saw him treat people just as poorly. This host was terrible to work with. It was an extremely hostile environment to work in. And also Dakota can speak on his experience with him too.
Dakota kind of already has done a video. However, he's not really spoke about his experiences yet. I feel it may come because Nick Groff is the first one to really directly speak about ZAK Bagans here. From what I've seen, I might be wrong.
All right, this is from Glenda from Texas. Aaron has already explained why you were fired. You went behind Zak's back, started a new show without discussing anything with him. Trying to destroy him at this late date will do you no good, except she spelled no wrong.
I did not get fired. That is false. I did not go behind anyone's back. My contract allowed me to produce other shows, just like the other host who I was working with, who produced several other shows. This is simply jealousy, nothing to do with legalities.
So, this is interesting. So, while Nick Groff was on the Ghost Adventures show, it sounds like Nick Groff started his own little show, and as he said, he's not in his contract that that wasn't allowed, and he said it was jealousy. Now, yeah, I can understand that. I can see where that's coming from. It is a natural thing to be jealous, to not want people to like do their own thing, but in Nick Groff's case, you know, it's not really a bad thing. It's not really, you know, it's nothing major.
There were multiple questions regarding whether or not you believe that you have been limited or blocked from appearing on Travel Channel.
In my opinion, I do believe I was blocked from the network and continuing my shows, specifically because of one host who I used to work with. And the reason I know this is because several executives I spoke to at the network said, I can't come to that network as long as he's there. And also, years later, speaking to Dakota, who finally spoke out about it and confirmed it for me, that yes, when he was filming with this one host at a location, this host came into the room bragging, laughing, saying, ha ha ha, Nick's never gonna work in America again because I gave the network an ultimatum to choose him or me. So now having that confirmation, this is the reason I'm speaking out today about it, because finally someone has the guts to talk about it publicly.
That's very interesting. So it sounds like ZAK Bagans has a lot more power than what people realise here, especially when it comes to who appears on the big network travel channel. Yeah, it's strange.
Marshmar1 says, I'm sorry, this was like 10 years ago. Move on with your life, stay out of the drama.
It's not drama when it directly impacts my life, my career, and my family. I wouldn't have to get involved in this conversation if this individual didn't continue interfering with my life.
So it's been 10 years and now Nick Groff decided to do this video, so it's all boiled over and over and over. And I think with the stuff what's happening to Dakota as well, I think it's more of a unity to actually tell the truth. I think when someone does something which affects someone, a natural thing is to just let it slide and just to basically let it be. But then when it continues and continues and continues with other people, then it kind of adds fuel to everyone who it's happened to. So I think that's possibly what's happening here, where Nick Groff's finally thinking it's time because we can't allow it to continue happening. That's what I believe is happening.
There's a ton of questions wanting to know exactly why you left Ghost Adventures.
In my opinion, based on what I was told, a certain individual that I worked with called up the network and said he would not show up at the next location if I showed up. I was dragged along for 2 months and I kept being told, we don't need you at this next location. Then another week would go by, we don't need you at that location. Got to the point where I was dragged along for so long that my lawyer finally stepped in. He gave me a choice. I could either move on and make something better, create something new, or just be a sitting duck and just wait. So I chose to move on and create Paranormal Lockdown.
Okay, so this brings me to a bunch of other questions that have to do with Paranormal Lockdown. People want to know what happened to Paranormal
Yeah, with a 2 series, I think, on it.
Lockdown. Many of them are saying it was my favorite paranormal show of all time.
Paranormal Lockdown became one of the highest rated shows for the network at the time. And yes, it is true that a merger was occurring and we were kind of on hiatus, still filming. But then I was told by the network executives that we would continue Paranormal Lockdown into 20 episodes and keep going after it. But then suddenly, radio silence. We had to get on the phone, talk to the network, and try to figure out what is going on because this is what I was being promised. And this brings me back around to what Dakota witnessed about a certain individual, a host who walked into the room bragging and talking about how he stopped Paranormal Lockdown. I believe I know what happened to my show, Paranormal Lockdown, but what do you guys think?
There's still more to this video I'm going to play yet. So the gist of all of this, from what I see right now, it's like hearsay. It's he said this, he said that. We're not seeing no proof of anything. However, why would Nick lie? Why would Dakota lie? I don't believe they would. I just believe they are. I believe they've seen enough, and now they're just basically sick of the lies or sick of the commotion, and they're just setting the record straight of what actually happened to Paranormal Lockdown, what actually happened to Destination Fear, what actually happened to my shows. Was there someone involved? Based on this, it sounds like there is, but it's all hearsay at this moment. Now, because it is hearsay, I wonder if ZAK Bagans will actually respond to this. I wonder if he will try to defend what is being said about him. However, I will say it's not looking good for ZAK Bagans, and I really do feel this is a truthful, sincere video of what Nick knows.
A lot of people have sent screenshots or even tagged us in the original tweets that Zach posted years ago. And it goes like this. Zach says, anyone out there who gets fired from a job for doing bad things can't use said job as a resume of achievements. Total deception.
So this is ZAK Bagans' official Twitter. And he's actually saying here that anyone who gets fired from a job for doing bad things can't use said job as a resume of achievements. Total deception. I don't believe that, actually. I don't believe that. So there's a contradiction here with that Nick saying he wasn't fired and ZAK Bagans saying he was fired. We don't know exactly. However, Nick Groff has gave us a bit more context of why he's no longer in the show, because he was doing other side projects. That's basically it. And ZAK Bagans did not like it and gave him silence, kept on putting him on the back bench for the show. So Nick Groff is just sitting there doing nothing with his time, and he finally decided, well, it's time to actually do something productive. But I want to say here that it's basically ZAK Bagans is basically moaning that Nick Groff is using Ghost Adventures' name to further himself. Now, what I find interesting about this is there's nothing wrong with that. If you appear on a show, if you are a part of a show, it is a part of history. And if it's a part of history, you have the right to mention, I have been seen on Ghost Adventures, known to be on Ghost Adventures. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what you call history, and you can't rewrite history.
He goes on to say, please for one time in your life do something 100% original, and then continues to say, disgusted to see someone using our show name, Ghost Adventures, to keep promoting shows and himself that we want absolutely nothing to do with.
Well, sorry, ZAK Bagans, but there's nothing you can do about that. He was on the show. He was on the show. He has every right to say he was on the show. Nothing you can do about that, sorry to say.
Here's proof that he's putting out statements about me, talking about how I did, quote, bad things. Multiple people in the industry reached out to me and stated ZAK called them and told them not to work with me. After speaking with Dakota, I learned that these patterns have not stopped. I believe that these rumors were used to try to hinder my career. And as far as him going on and saying, I use Ghost Adventures for my resume, yes, it is part of my resume. I helped create the title Ghost Adventures. I edited it. I was a co-creator. I was in it for 10 seasons. I have every right to use Ghost Adventures on my resume.
Definitely. And I didn't actually see this bit. So he's actually just explained what I just explained, that he has every right to, and it's true.
Bottom line, these are false statements and his way of trying to ruin my reputation.
Nikita asked, are you way happier now getting to investigate your way and have full control of what you're producing?
As you're seeing now, people in the industry are talking how difficult it is to move away from a network that's fully producing their project. I took matters into my own hands, gained full control over my project, Deathwalker, so this would not happen again. To answer your question, I'm way happier now. I have full control of my projects. I'm away from toxic people. There's no restraints. And I'm able to pursue my passion of real paranormal investigations with credible evidence.
What about...
Before I continue, so Nick's got full control over his show, and I'm noticing a pattern now that everyone's gaining full creative control over their shows, which is really a game changer. Not fully a game changer because it has been happening for quite a few years now. Destination Fear controlled every aspect of their show, so they say, and Nick Groff has just said that he controls every aspect of his show, which I fully believe as well. It's quite obvious that they do control everything. However, just because they control everything, it doesn't mean that the networks will put the show on or will actually green light everything. Like, they don't have the ultimate say-so. However, they do have the say-so of what is shown on the TV. At any given point, they could probably cancel anything. These network executives who basically have got their hands tied behind their backs, and they're just basically giving a show and putting full trust in the team. So in this case, Nick Groff, putting full trust in Nick Groff to produce something which the network will be happy with, and that is amazing for to see, to be honest. Totally amazing. Same way Dakota, and it just goes to show you that Dakota had full control over his entire show, but yet it gets cancelled. So it just goes to show you that there is always someone at the top who is not like your team, if that makes sense. There is always someone at the top who ultimately controls it being shown and being heard. So there is something happening. There is something happening which I'm going to jump into very shortly, which is very interesting to speak about.
The allegations in the media regarding you cheating.
These allegations are completely false. I have never cheated. I have never had an affair. In my opinion, these rumors and allegations were put out into the media purposely by a very hateful and jealous woman.
Chris says, how's the baby doing? I hope you all are happy and healthy.
I couldn't be happier. The baby is doing fantastic. All of his brothers and sisters are doing great. They all love each other. Tessa and I are extremely happy with our life right now, and we're growing together. We're working on new projects, and we're pursuing our passion. I could go on and on about why I have zero respect for these certain people that I worked with in the past. I have never allowed anything to stand in my way. Tessa and I will not allow anything negative to stand in our way with everything that we have coming up. I'm putting all these rumors to rest because, again, we're moving forward. Tessa and I have been doing this since we were little kids, and we look forward to continuing to bring you real paranormal content. Okay, let's
find that interesting. At the end, real paranormal content. Is that a little, a way of letting us know that ZAK Bagans isn't real? That stuff is not what it says it is. But full respect to you, Nick. Full respect for actually talking about it, for actually addressing these things, because at the end of the day, it's happening to loads of people now. Loads and loads of people are basically, it seems, getting their shows axed, cancelled, or whatever it is. Did ZAK Bagans cancel them? No. He's got influence to basically help decisions. He's not the person who clicks cancel. He's just the person who speaks to somebody, and then whoever's in charge makes a decision based on ZAK Bagans' influence. That's what I'm getting out of this. So there is something happening right now as well. We're starting to notice Nick Groff, Dakota, they're now starting to transition onto YouTube. And Dakota's latest project is actually called Project Fear. And so it's very similar to Destination Fear, but it's called Project Fear. And there's a Kickstarter for it here, which they basically wanted to raise £53,000. Someone's just donated now. So £53,000 have raised £165,000 up to yet to actually kickstart their show on YouTube. And here there's like a list of all things which, if you do pledge to them and donate to them, have little Zoom meetings, t-shirts, memorabilia and stuff like that. A guest appearance on the show, £10,000. Wow, that's extortionate. However, you know, they're trying to make a big bang when they start their show. And here, because I do believe it will be on people's mind, what will the money be used for? So 10% campaign fees, 20% reward costs, which is all this on your right hand side, if you know all the memorabilia stuff and all that, what they'll pay for. So 70% production. Now Dakota's already said that he produces the show himself. He's got everything. He's got all the cameras and everything like that to actually do a show. So this production cost, I can only imagine that this 70% doesn't mean filming or video editing, because Dakota said he does that all himself. So I'm guessing it means location hires, to hire the locations and to maybe have guest appearances and to pay for them guest appearances. Hotel costs, for when you go places, you probably stay at hotels, and I do know they've got that camper van thing. So, however, they might have to pay for hotel costs for certain people and guests. So that's what that's for, and it is for a YouTube. So what I find interesting is that TV channels are now starting to transition onto social media. And let me be totally honest with you, social media is better than TV channels. Not for everyone, but if you've got a following, it can really help kickstart an actual career on social media, on platforms like YouTube or Facebook. Now, it will be interesting to see what actually happens with this, because this will be the first official group of people, group of friends. You know, these Dakota and everyone all lived together, very, very close to each other. They've known each other since they were born. That's what the story is. And it'd be interesting to see how it actually progresses onto YouTube, because these will be the first official TV show group of people to move to YouTube. And we could maybe see a big change of things here. We could maybe see a change of direction of other TV shows as well. Maybe you will see other TV shows transitioning to do their own thing, to gain full creative control over everything, not have a time limit as they say on this video, and to actually have 100% control. There's no one above you telling you it's not going to go on air, you need to change this before it goes on air. There's none of that with YouTube. It's literally what you see is what you get, and it's very interesting. Let me know in the comments what you believe is happening here. Will we see a new era of TV shows actually transitioning onto YouTube or Facebook to actually produce their shows and air their shows and beat viewing statistics for Really Channel, for Travel Channel. It's going to happen. I know it. It's going to happen. Thank you for watching this video, everybody, and take care. If there's any more breaking news in certain topics, I will tell you about it. Thank you for watching. Bye, everyone.